Be one of the first fans through the gates and grab a free Phoenix Rising beach towel. Perfect for summer and perfect for showing your pride. Tickets start at just $15. Grab yours now at phxrisingfc.com.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed, all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
Hey, D-backs fans, did you know milk is one of the most requested but least donated items at food banks? Together, we can change that. On June 14th, D-backs pitcher Merrill Kelly will be at the Fry's on 20th Street in Highland from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. for the 1,000-gallon challenge milk donation drive. Stop by, donate a gallon, meet Merrill Kelly, and make a difference. Join Arizona milk producers, Fry's, and the D-backs to help fill fridges and fuel families. Learn more at arizonamilk.org.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
We are all still waiting for the results that perhaps may determine the fate of the Diamondback season. Welcome in Tuesday edition of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app, and you can always watch the program over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel and on the Twitter feed as well. Hope everybody's having a great start to their Tuesday. Chris Schubert with you. Producer Evan is behind the glass. 480-864-1060, the phone number if you want to get involved with the program today. And unfortunately, we start today's program in the exact same spot that we left yesterday's program because the topic, our top story, our daily special, it's the Diamondbacks and it's one starter's medical records.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
We are still awaiting the MRI results for Corbin Burnes and his elbow. And it is those results that I think are going to tell us a very specific story. Touched on this a little bit yesterday. We'll open the show with it today. Because I am of the belief that the entire championship window of the Arizona Diamondbacks hangs in the balance of this MRI result. This team being a buyer or a seller at the trade deadline hangs in the balance of this MRI result. What they do this winter with their manager, with the rest of their roster, what their payroll may or may not look like for 2026, all of it hinges on the result of this MRI. A bad MRI result, and we already know that there is a second opinion being seeked out by Corbin Burnes and his team. A bad result from that MRI where the season is over for him, you can very closely listen and hear the championship window for this team closing because they don't have much of a rotation if Corbin Burnes isn't healthy. They don't have much of a team right now as it is, even with Corbin Burnes in that rotation. They've been struggling this season with their starting pitching, with their bullpen. A disappointment across the board as we enter the month of June. We planned on doing a segment this week discussing what this team would need to do in the month of June in order to stay relevant and to keep themselves out of being a seller at the trade deadline. It feels somewhat foolish to have that conversation while we are still waiting for this big news to drop. But a bad result in this MRI means the championship window closes. The second straight year in which this team would have spent the big bucks. The highest payroll in the history of the organization, nearly $200 million. All for what? A team to lose their ace in the middle of the season, the biggest free agent contract that they have given out in the history of the Diamondbacks. How can you expect this team to make the playoffs if they don't have their ace? To go along with the underperformance of other members of this rotation. To go along with the meltdowns that are stacking up day after day after day for the Diamondbacks bullpen. We didn't have a meltdown yesterday, mainly because the Diamondbacks didn't play yesterday. That's how common these meltdowns have become. So it's not just Corbin Burnes. There are other issues that have been plaguing this team that have led us to wonder if this team's going to have to be a seller at the deadline. If the cherry on top is a Corbin Burnes injury that forces him to miss the remainder of the season, the window slams shut. A good result from the MRI, just a short stint on the injured list. He's already been placed on the injured list. A short stint on the injured list. Perhaps you can convince yourself that a good month of June, if this team can pick themselves up by their bootstraps, if other guys can step up, looking at you, Ryan Nelson, if Zach Gallen can turn his season around, if Brandon Pfaadt can make Saturday a thing of the past, if Merrill Kelly can continue to be that consistent force, if Eduardo Rodriguez can just be an average level starter, if the bullpen can get healthy, AJ Puck can return, and this bullpen can stop blowing games left and right, and they can have a good month and then get Corbin Burnes back, you can see this team be a buyer, be into the summer months trying to compete for one of these final playoff spots in the National League, and we can see this through. All of it hinges on the result of this MRI, that it looks like we're not going to get the wind of those results today. We didn't get him yesterday. Doesn't look like we're going to get him today. It honestly doesn't look like we're going to get them tomorrow. Corbin Burnes and his team, led by his agent, Scott Boras, they are taking their time. And Scott Boras is meticulous when it comes to this stuff. And so they are going to take their time. They're going to get all the opinions in the world before they determine what they are going to do next. But this entire season hangs in the balance of this MRI result. What does it look like if this window slams shut, if we get a bad MRI result, if the season for Corbin Burnes is over? Well, last night on the MLB show that Fox does before their broadcasts, Kevin Burkhardt was talking to MLB insider Ken Rosenthal, and he asked him that question. What would this look like if Corbin Burnes is forced to miss the season? And I hope you're sitting down for this one, because this cut, it does not inspire confidence for what the future of this ball club is going to look like.
So if there is a situation where he's out a while and worst case for the year, where does that leave Arizona?
In a very difficult position, Kevin. And as they await this news, really nothing short of the season is at stake. They're already one of the most disappointing teams in the National League, right there with the Braves. 28-31, 8 games out, 5 games back in the wild card race. And if Burnes is out, they're likely looking, I would think, at becoming a seller. And who do they have to sell? Well, Zach Gallen is a potential free agent. Merrill Kelly the same. Josh Naylor also eligible to hit the open market. So you can move those guys, save the owner some money in a year in which he committed to a franchise record payroll. But without Burnes, it's hard to envision them being competitive this year. And then next year, without potentially Gallen and Kelly, you're really looking at a problem. So the Diamondbacks obviously hoping for the best here, but the worst would be a worst case scenario.
Yeah, hopefully that's not the case. And
yeah, hopefully it's not the case. Thank you, Kevin, for saying everything that we Diamondbacks fans, supporters, people who cover this team are feeling as we await this news. Because Ken Rosenthal did not sugarcoat it. Not only are you not competitive this year if you lose Corbin Burnes because you're trading away Zach Allen, because you're trading away Merrill Kelly, because you're potentially trading away Josh Naylor, and there are other names that we could invoke. Shelby Miller could be movable as a high leverage reliever arm that a contender may want to buy. But then you don't have any of those guys next year, and we said this yesterday, the payroll, and I've been wrong on this before, so I could be wrong again, but I feel more confident in this prediction than I did the first time that I said it. The payroll would have to come down. 2 straight years of not getting those playoff gates, getting those playoff revenues from the TV deals, from the merchandise, everything that you get at the ballpark, those playoff gates, not having that for 2 straight years, the payroll would have to come down. And so now, not just is this year lost, but Kelly could be gone, whether you trade him or not, free agent at the end of the season. Zach Allen, whether you trade him or not, free agent at the end of the season. Josh Naylor, free agent at the end of the season, if I'm remembering his contract structure correctly. So next year, if Burnes is forced to miss some of that time, also is an uncompetitive year. And this core that you built, you went to the World Series in 2023 and you thought you had something. You thought you had the start of a championship window. A window of relevancy in the National League. Since then, you haven't made the playoffs, and this year is teetering on a disaster because we were already here before this news. Jeff Passan of ESPN put out a story this morning putting all of the teams in baseball into different buckets ahead of the trade deadline, into different categories. These teams are buyers. I think he called them acquirers, and then the sellers. And then he had the in-between, which he called the tweeners, headlined by the Arizona Diamondbacks. So before Corbin Burnes' injury, we were already wondering, could one bad stretch put this team with a healthy Corbin Burnes into sell mode? That question was asked last week before the National Series, before this team lost at home to Washington 2 days in a row, before this team potentially lost Corbin Burnes for a significant amount of time. We were already wondering if this thing was teetering the wrong direction. And so Jeff Passan said the objective right now for the Diamondbacks, figure out if there's enough pitching internally to warrant trying to win. Went on to call the Diamondbacks one of the more disappointing teams in baseball this season. And then listed all of the names that they have to move. Gallen, who they could just give a qualifying offer to. Josh Naylor, who they could just give the qualifying offer to. But Merrill Kelly, who could be on the move. Eugenio Suarez, who could be on the move. He mentioned Jake McCarthy and Alek Thomas as potential guys that could be sent away if this team ends up being a seller. Everything about the next 2 seasons, the remainder of this one and the next one for the Arizona Diamondbacks, hinges on the health of Corbin Burnes and the result of this MRI. There's a path we go down here, where if Corbin Burnes, worst case scenario, needs the dreaded 2-word surgery, I won't even put it out there into existence, but that dreaded 2-word surgery that would remove him for the remainder of this year and a large majority of next year. I don't know how the immediate response is we're in sell mode. We're already multiple games below 500. And now we've lost our ace, the one starting pitcher that's been the most reliable and most consistent this season is gone. The guy that if you were trying to convince yourself this team could dig out of this hole, he's the guy or one of the guys you pointed to as to a reason why they could dig themselves out of this hole. And so then you entertain being a seller. You entertain moving Zach Allen. You entertain moving Josh Naylor, free agents at the end of the year. Merrill Kelly, Eugenio Suarez, free agents at the end of the year to make sure that you get something for these guys. But then guess what? That means you don't have those guys next season. And that means you have to replace a rotation that doesn't have Corbin Burnes for the large chunk of 2026. That doesn't have Zach Allen. That doesn't have Merrill Kelly. That doesn't have Eugenio Suarez playing third base. That doesn't have Josh Naylor patrolling first base. Do you see how the house of cards crumbles very quickly when you just tug on the one that is Corbin Burnes' elbow? Because the alternative is he has to just go on the IL for 15 days one time. It's just a couple of turns through and he is back. Maybe you're not selling these guys. Maybe you do go on a magical run in June and in July and in the summer months. We've seen it before from this squad. You have the talent. Ryan Nelson's been a great starter for you this season. Merrill Kelly has been good. Brandon Pfaadt had one bad outing. We're going to talk about that today on the show because it got lost in all of the chaos of yesterday. But if that's just a mulligan, if that's just one bad night and he gets back to being the guy that we saw at the beginning of the season, the depth, the length, the ability to give you every fifth day a chance to win, and the offense continues to produce, then you can see a magical run in June and July that makes this team relevant, has them in the mix, and they can be exactly the team that we thought they were at the beginning of the season. The talent is there. Don't allow the injury to confuse you. This team isn't going to sink because of the injuries. They are going to sink because of the underperformance of their bullpen, of their starters, and specifically guys that have been trustworthy like Zach Allen. That is what hinges on this MRI result. A team that was already teetering as it is, and this result could be the nudge that throws them into one camp or the other. Potentially the most important medical record in the history of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Has to be.
I mean, this is
the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Not just for this season, but for this entire window that this team is trying to operate under.
And then you have a serious conversation of what 2 years, 3 years down the line looks like. What does it look like with Ketel Marte's contract? What are those? Obviously Corbin Carroll's not a question. He's too young.
It's a can of worms that gets opened where, truthfully, almost anything would be on the table. Almost anything. There would be a few exceptions, Corbin Carroll being one of them. But let's not put the cart in front of the horse, because that would be earliest a winter conversation. But that's what hinges on this result. Because you watched the game on Sunday. We all watched the game on Sunday. You saw that moment where Corbin Burnes motions to the trainer. And there was a part of you that wondered, is that it? Is that the season? A season that was already spiraling out of control. Talks of firing the manager. Talks of being the biggest disappointment in the game right now. We were already speed running towards this team being a surprise seller with Corbin Burnes healthy and, as of late, pitching like Corbin Burnes. It flashed before your eyes on Sunday. Corbin Burnes being out and motioning for the trainer was also the signal of this season is done. That's why this MRI result is so critical. And it feels like we're going to wait a couple of more days before we find out what this team is going to do and what the diagnosis is for Corbin Burnes. Want to hear from you today on the program? 480-864-1060 is the phone number. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, the desperation might be reeking out of downtown Phoenix. We'll tell you why next. It's the lunch break. AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Every summer, across the valley, hundreds of our homeless neighbors die because of the heat. This is tragic, and it is preventable. None of us can stop the heat, but together we can save lives. With incredible partners like you, Phoenix Rescue Mission is able to provide life-saving water and critical care to our neighbors in need. Join us this summer and make a difference. Learn more at phoenixrescuemission.org/code red.
Breaking Benjamin. And 3 Days Grace. Live. October 8th at Desert Diamond Arena with special guest Return to Dust. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, presented by the Big Red Radio.
When you hear crunch, whine, boing, Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch, whine, boing.
no matter what kind of
crunch,
whine, or boing your AC is making.
we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free.
We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
whine,
boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free.
No matter how big the crunch,
boing,
or whine.
Wait, I thought I was whine.
You're crunch.
I'm crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me.
William is crunch.
Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. The NBA Finals are set, and already there's a ton of hand-wringing about how we got stuck with two small market teams. The ratings are going to be non-existent. Nobody outside these two small markets is going to care, right? No, what we got were the two best teams in the NBA. Isn't that the whole point? Who cares where they play? Are OKC and Indiana supposed to apologize for being better than every other team in a major market? I actually love the matchup because the Thunder, having won 68 regular season games, were absolutely supposed to be here. And despite making the conference finals last year, the Pacers were picked in the preseason by almost nobody to advance to the NBA Finals. So don't tell me how uninteresting this matchup is. What you're really saying is your team didn't get in, or you're just a part of the internet flock of sheep that is saying the exact same thing because you don't have an original thought of your own. Because this matchup is interesting. I am Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on the X platform at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly! Save money on your next full synthetic oil change at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $35.95. We can recommend all the oil change supplies you need. Shop your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back into the lunch break. Chris Schubert with you, KDUS AM 1060. We started off so hot with the program today. I think I mentioned producer Evan was behind the glass, but I didn't say hello to producer Evan. I didn't ask how his day was going. I didn't even check in with you. I apologize.
Day's good. Had to do some training this morning in the morning meeting.
Yeah, you're causing a little bit of a brouhaha in the building because I got an email today. You have been working here for about a month now. And there was some training that, according to you, you started but didn't complete.
Yes.
And I got an email saying, listen, Evan's got to complete this or else he's in big trouble. That's what the email said. So I'm like, dude, now I'm getting in trouble. And I did the training. I've worked here for over a year. I did the training on my first day. We're in month 3?
2. Maybe 3.
Maybe 3. That's how math works. So you got us into a little bit of trouble. But your training, you worked on it this morning. It's going to be done by the end of the day. No more problems. But you caused a little brouhaha this morning.
I did.
It's okay, though. It's okay.
Yeah. In fairness, I don't think I clicked the right buttons to complete the training at the time.
It was user error, but it's okay. It's okay. We're going to correct it. No more problems. But you did. You got us both into a little bit of hot water this morning. I smoothed it over. I made sure to be like, hey, by the end of the day, Evan's going to have the training done. I'm going to make sure. I did stand over you at one point to make sure you were just clicking the right buttons. I didn't want us to be in the same spot 2 weeks from now, but it feels like everything's, well, other than that, though, day's great.
Day's great. Day's
Fantastic.
great. Got a good start to the morning today. Went to Costco, picked up like a cold brew yesterday, so I poured myself my own coffee this morning.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Good
stuff.
Better than the one you pay $14 for at the local coffee shop?
Certainly cheaper.
Well,
Certainly cheaper.
Yes, anything
so that makes
do
it
at home.
better.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anytime you keep more money in your own pockets, normally a good thing.
Yeah. So good start to the day.
Good start to the day. That's fantastic. It was a hot start to the show, talking about Corbin Burnes and awaiting that MRI result. About 10 minutes from now, we will talk about, we didn't touch on this at all yesterday, and that's my fault, but we were just so busy trying to figure out if we were going to get the Corbin Burnes news and focusing on that being the big story that we didn't really dive deep into Brandon Pfaadt and his start on Saturday. So I do want to touch on that and whether or not it is a worrying thing for the future. And so we'll get to that in about 10 minutes from now. But some desperation perhaps starting to set in the offices in downtown Phoenix for the Phoenix Suns. No, not as to who their new head coach is going to be, although we're down to 2, and it looks like sooner rather than later we will know if it will be Johnny Bryant or Jordan Ott as the next head coach of the Phoenix Suns.
I did see a report yesterday that it would be done by Friday.
Yeah, so you're going to win that bet. You should have really pushed for us to make that bet on the air because you would have won that one. I mean, they had 9 names, 6 names. I thought it was going to take a little bit. They wanted to do in-person interviews. One of the coaches that was on the list is still playing. His team's still in the finals. You would have to
imagine they didn't even do an in-person interview with him.
Or they did his interview first and they went to him.
Yeah. Also, did you hear that both guys are going to Michigan to interview with Matt Ishbia?
That's where Matt Ishbia. I mean, you've heard Jordan Ott was a coach at Michigan State, right? You've heard that Matt Ishbia went to Michigan State, right? Was a walk-on, played there. Brian Gregory, general manager, was a coach, longtime assistant for Tom Izzo at Michigan State.
Really?
So Michigan's got a lot to do with what's going on here. So I didn't know if you knew that. So I
didn't.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
But advantage Jordan Ott if they're going to interview in Michigan.
No,
I heard they're doing it in East Lansing, actually.
No, I think advantage Matt Ishbia because he just wants the convenience of not needing to travel back to Phoenix. He spends most of his time in Michigan. That's where his business is. That's where the mortgage company is. So he spends a lot.
And that's where he went to college too, right?
Oh no, the mortgage company's in Ohio, maybe Michigan, Ohio, somewhere in the Midwest, somewhere over there. And yeah, he went to Michigan State.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Shocking. First time we've ever heard about it. You know what would be interesting? The owner went to Michigan State. GM was a coach at Michigan State. And then if they hired a head coach that coached at Michigan State, you know what that would be to me?
The alignment.
That would be very aligned. That'd be a very aligned way.
And you'd have to say the optics on that would be awesome.
Oh, I mean,
everybody would love that.
You would just talk about how they're all going to speak the same language. They're going to understand each other. They're cut from the same cloth. Everything would just go swimmingly. It'd be great. And they'd be
the alignment.
And we know that that's very important for what they're trying to do. There's not a single person out there that would say that hiring somebody with Michigan State ties would be a bad optic for the Phoenix Suns. I don't think there's anybody out there that would say that if they hired Jordan Ott. Nobody, not a single person.
No.
At some point this week, we'll know whether or not it's Jordan Ott or whether it's Johnny Bryant. Yesterday, we made the case this needs to be Johnny Bryant or bust, I think. The Jordan Ott thing would be a cloud hovering over this organization in a big way, that it would take a lot to make that cloud disappear. But we'll see. They're going to do the 2 in-person interviews, and hopefully by the end of the week, we get an answer so we can actually evaluate who the next head coach of this team is going to be. But the desperation around this team may have more to do with their next big offseason item on the to-do list, because after hiring a general manager, after hiring a head coach, the next thing that this team needs to do, and there appears to be some level of urgency about this, is trading Kevin Durant. Was reading a story in The Athletic today from the Houston Rockets perspective, and they were mentioning in the story that their interest in Devin Booker has cooled, that they're just no longer as interested as they were in the past to pursue Devin Booker. And the story mentions that his low-scoring season last year, his worst shooting year, how much money it's going to cost, the fact that they believe, Houston that is, believes that Phoenix is going to extend Devin Booker, and that they don't really want to empty this roster out just to get Devin Booker, and Jalen Green's continued development. That is all of the reasons why they pointed out why the interest in Devin Booker has cooled. But then the Athletic story goes on to say this about the Suns and the Rockets. Quote, "This is not to say the Rockets and Suns are not in communication. On the contrary, Phoenix is aggressive in pursuit of A, trading Kevin Durant, and B, regaining full control of their draft capital, starting with the number 10 pick in next month's draft," team sources said. Since the conclusion of the season, Houston has fielded several calls from Phoenix, who have since gradually lowered their asking price for Durant, sources said. There is a price where the Rockets would be interested, but with a fear of breaking up their roster for a 36-year-old coming off injury, doubt remains over a deal materializing, end quote. Can you smell that? Can you smell it? That's the desperation of the Phoenix Suns. Not Houston calling Phoenix, Phoenix calling Houston, which is how we have always positioned this. It has always been viewed through the lens of Phoenix is the one doing a lot of the phone calls. They're the ones that are picking up the phone and dialing out. The calls aren't coming in from Houston. There's not a Houston area code on the other end of the phone line. They're the ones dialing out, and the Phoenix area code is showing up on the Houston phones. The thing that just sticks out like a sore thumb to me, they are gradually lowering their asking price. Now, you can spin this two ways. You can spin it into the desperation that they know that they have to trade Kevin Durant, and there's going to come a point where they don't care what the return is. They just need to move on. Or the way that I would position it is they're not going to be stuck in their ways. They are not set in, we have to get this or we're not trading Kevin Durant. Them moving the goalposts a little bit might be an encouraging sign of, hey, they're not steadfast in their belief of we have to get 2 players and 2 picks, and one of those picks has to be a first-round pick, and we need some pick swaps, and the player needs to be a starter. And we've said 2 players, one being a starter, one with some potential, a draft pick, feels like the ideal landing spot here if you're Phoenix. That would make us all feel happy about this return. But them being flexible in what they get back could be spinned as a good thing. But I don't like reading that this team is aggressively calling Houston, aggressively trying to pursue this trade. And their aggressiveness is taking them to a place of almost potentially full-on desperation of, oh, okay, you won't do this, but would you do this? It's like you're in high school trying to get the girl to ask you to go to prom, and you just keep trying new ways to ask the girl, even though she said no over and over and over again. Well, what about this? And you just look more and more desperate every time the girl says no, and then you come up with a brand new scheme to try to get the girl to go to prom with you. That's what this starts to reek of. They have to trade Kevin Durant. They know that. I know they would love, in an ideal world, to get the number 10 overall pick back. I don't think you need to get the number 10 pick back in order to successfully trade Kevin Durant and get yourself a good package. Minnesota is going to be all over Kevin Durant. The Knicks, we'll talk about them in hour number 2 of the program, could be all over Kevin Durant. I saw a rumor, take it for what it's worth, Atlanta might be interested in Kevin Durant. There are going to be enough suitors to where I think you're going to be able to get the right trade package back. You don't need to be desperate to say it's the 10th pick or bust. I get why you want that pick back, but I don't think you need to get that pick back in order for this to be a successful trade. But boy, just from this one article, can you feel the desperation? Can you smell the desperation of the Phoenix Suns if that they are gradually lowering their asking price? All right, well, if you won't do this, will you do this? All right, you won't do that. Would you do this? And then slowly, you start to look like the fool. You start to look like you're going to get swindled in this deal. And the one thing the Phoenix Suns cannot afford is to be swindled in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. The summer of Durant, which it feels like we are just a head coach hire away from it fully being the summer of Durant. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. Also got you covered on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel with the YouTube live stream. When we come back, it got lost in the shuffle of all the Corbin Burnes talk yesterday. But what happened to Brandon Pfaadt over the weekend? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Judas Priest and Alice Cooper. The Metal Gods, Judas Priest. The Godfather of Shock Rock, Alice Cooper. October 22nd, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater with special guest, Corrosion of Conformity. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Presented by 100.7 KSLX, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like unloading the grocery bags from your car and you decide you can get all the bags in one trip.
I can do it.
So you load up all 14 grocery bags on both arms. Sure, you can't feel your fingers and forgot to take your house keys out.
Almost there.
But you never put down one bag and you made it inside all in one trip like the bag-carrying boss you are.
Yes.
Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
We're chatting with our guest, always safety first, 811 Megaphone Man.
Call 811 before you dig.
You never stray from your mission of letting homeowners, landscapers, and excavators know you should always call 811 before you dig.
Call 811.
Call for both small and big jobs. And 2 working days in advance?
811.
Any parting words? And I'm guessing they will be...
Call 811 before you dig.
Brought to you by Southwest Gas.
811.
Are you tired of seeing rust stains in your sinks? Call Culligan. Or scrubbing hard water scale buildup from your fixtures. Call Culligan. We can customize whole home solutions to address common water worries found in Phoenix. And now, for a limited time, you can get better water at every tap in your home for $0 down, no payments, and no interest for 6 months. Problem water is no problem for Culligan. Contact your local water expert today. Contaminants may not be in your water. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for details.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, Chris Schubert with you, KDUS AM 1060. Got buy or sell coming up in about 10 minutes to close out hour number 1 of the program. What do we got coming up in buy or sell, producer Evan? Just a little appetizer. Don't give away the whole enchilada. Just give me a little taste.
Little Cardinals talk, maybe a little Major League Baseball, little Diamondbacks talk, and then a random NCAA one to finish us off.
You did well there, because I don't know what that NCAA one was. I think I have an idea of what the Cardinals thing is. Obviously, there's a lot of Diamondbacks angles that you can take, so I'm kind of prepared for that. Very unprepared for what the NCAA story is going to be. So buy or sell coming up in about 10 minutes from now. Didn't get to talk about this much yesterday. The start that Brandon Pfaadt had on Saturday, in which he did not record an out, gave up 6 hits, the 8 runs through 31 pitches and was taken out of the game, like we said, before recording a single out. Just one of those performances, one of those starts, one of those games where you just want to bury the tape. We talk about this in football all the time. Coaches say, yeah, we just want to bury that tape. Didn't like what we saw even when we watched it back. In the moment, we didn't like it. In the moment when we were getting blown out, it wasn't good. And then watching it back, it just got worse. We want to bury that one, want to forget it and move on. That is the type of start that Brandon Pfaadt had on Saturday to close out his month of May, to balloon his May ERA to a whopping 8.10 in the month of May. Was not what you need from your starting rotation that was already kind of up in the air as it is. And he was bad because Brandon Pfaadt gives up loud contact. Brandon Pfaadt does not strike out a ton of guys. And you don't have to go out there and strike out 8 to 10 batters every time that you're out there. But you got to induce soft contact. You got to get those ground balls. You have to get those lazy fly balls that your outfielders can go get. You can't not miss bats and also give up some really hard hit contact where the ball's just getting hit all over the place. Read a great story over on the Diamondback Sports Illustrated page that for Brandon Pfaadt, the story is simple. If you don't strike guys out, you got to get ground balls and weak contact. If you're going to give up some loud contact, you got to be able to strike guys out. The problem is Pfaadt puts both of those together. He doesn't strike out a ton of guys, but he also gives up some really hard contact. Just not a recipe that when that's the way that you are as a pitcher, sometimes you're going to have outings like this. And so you have to figure out a way to either get some more whiffs, increase that number on the margins, or try to get some of that softer contact. And whether that's changing up your repertoire a little bit, throwing different pitches in different spots. Pitching is an art. There's a way to kind of craft yourself to more outs and to the more ideal result. That's what Brandon Pfaadt is going to have to do. And in general, this rotation has some major issues. And Brandon Pfaadt's start on Saturday kind of highlighted it. And I was reading a piece this morning on Fangraphs. Allow me.
I'm a huge nerd.
I'll try not to get too deep into the weeds on what the numbers were from the story. But the story was entitled, Can the Diamondbacks Survive Their Rotation Troubles? And it went through every single member of the staff. And it said what their current problem is and what the fix is or what the potential remedy is. It went through each one, even Corbin Burnes, and made it pretty simple. The problem with Corbin Burnes, the injury. The fix, cry, and then find backup plans. Now, they talked about Ryan Nelson being a potential backup plan. With Zach Allen, they mentioned the problem, missing bats. He's not missing bats enough. The issue or the fix, throwing the fastball less. They had the issue or the problem and the fix, the remedy for each of these pitchers. And with Brandon Pfaadt, they talked about the contact quality and how he's given up a lot of these, hard hit balls. And they said the worst expected batting average of all of the hits that he allowed in that game on Saturday was .310. 4 of the 6 hits that he allowed were .650 or higher, meaning these are no doubters. They're going to be hits. That's the type of contact Brandon Pfaadt was giving up. The fix for him, grin and bear it. Eduardo Rodriguez, reframing expectations was the fix for Eduardo Rodriguez. This rotation is in a state of despair right now across the board. Merrill Kelly's been consistent. They need that. They don't have enough of that. Brandon Pfaadt was great in the month of April. He had a 2.5 ERA, 2.43 ERA in April, ballooned to 8 in May. For the season, his ERA is now north of 5. Why? Just giving up a ton of hard contact. We had a stretch there where it was just like clockwork that Brandon Pfaadt was going to give this team 6 innings and a chance to win. He won 5 starts in a row in April. Didn't lose a single start in April. The team won every single one of his starts in April.
At one point in buy or sell, and this was a real question. Would you rather have Brandon Pfaadt come to the mound in a big game than Zach Allen?
And that was at some point during that stretch where he was throwing up 6 innings, 2 runs or fewer, and the Diamondbacks were just winning those games. And on the flip side, Gallen was being Zach Allen. Walking a ton of guys, not having great command of the strike zone. The fastball wasn't playing very well. And so each of these guys has a different issue that they are trying to solve. Now, the interesting part of this is every single one of them, I think, can fix it. Brandon Pfaadt, I know he had a bad month of May, but he's not going to be that again next time out. He deserves one mulligan. He deserves one do-over. He deserves one chance to say, that's not who I am as a pitcher. Forget that even happened. Look at my body of work. Look at who I've been most of this season. That's the guy that I am. He gets absolutely a chance to bounce back from that before we really start to panic about Brandon Pfaadt. I'm way more concerned. Hopefully I'm not jumping ahead and stealing a buy or sell. Way more concerned about Zach Gallen than I am Brandon Pfaadt. Way more concerned about Zach Gallen and his fastball just being too flat and him walking too many guys. That's the problem with Zach Gallen. Doesn't have great command. He's supposed to. Doesn't have the command of the strike zone. Is walking too many batters. Is prolonging innings. Running up his pitch count. Not going deep into games. And then when he has to throw that get me over pitch, it's getting crushed. Way more concerned about that than I am Brandon Pfaadt. Way more concerned about what Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be when he returns to this rotation. Way more concerned about Corbin Burnes and his health than I am about Brandon Pfaadt. Concerns with all of these guys right now. And unfortunately, the premise of the story and my message to all of you is all these guys can be good pitchers. Zach Gallen can be an ace. Brandon Pfaadt, just be the guy you were in April. Eduardo Rodriguez, be the guy you were in Boston. Be the guy you were in Detroit. Be that guy. If you're that guy, this team has a chance. So all of these pitchers have decent stretches of their career where they have been exactly what the Diamondbacks need them to be right now. Do I think the Diamondbacks need 5 Cy Young candidates in order to get themselves out of this hole? No, I do not. They need Brandon Pfaadt to be the guy he was in April. He can be the guy he was against the Cardinals. 5 2/3, 3 runs. He can be that guy. You have a chance to win with this offense. Zach Gallen, if he can be that guy, 6 innings, 3 runs or fewer, quality start. If you give me a quality start from Zach Gallen, if Brandon Pfaadt gives me a quality start, if Merrill Kelly gives me a quality start, Eduardo Rodriguez just keeps me in the game, this offense is good enough. This offense is good enough. The run prevention side of the equation, it's what is out of balance right now. So Brandon Pfaadt, that was bad on Saturday. It was bad. You want to forget it ever happened. After this, we never want to talk about it again. And I'm not going to truly panic about that type of outing unless it snowballs and he carries it with him into his next outing. Way more concerned about a bunch of other guys in this rotation than I am Brandon Pfaadt right now. 480-864-1060 is the phone number. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. John is over there apologizing for being late and said, did we vote on a leader yet? I thought we made this determination yesterday. Brian declared in the leftovers, and if you missed it yesterday, we had Brian call in during the leftovers, and he referred to me as the fearless leader. So that, I mean, I'm in charge. It's been declared. We don't need to vote. And again, the only other person we could put on the ballot is producer Evan. And I asked the same question I asked yesterday, is that really who you want in charge of the show?
I get us on the air every day.
You couldn't finish your training. You got us both into trouble. So I'm not sure if truly you should be the person leading us into battle here every single day.
I think it's up for a vote.
We'll
leave it to the YouTube chat.
We can leave it to you want to open this up to a vote? We can open this up for a vote. I just don't think it's going to go your way.
But I like to see where I stand.
Do you though? Because if it's some bad results, are you going to feel good? You're not going to feel good.
Yeah, but I'll know.
You'll know. Sometimes knowing is more important than the result.
Just need an answer.
You just need an answer. When we come back, buy or sell to close up hour number 1 of the program. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2025 live in Phoenix. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, October 7th. With special guest, Amble. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The #1 album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit Hosier.com.
Fulton Homes is bringing legendary Fulton quality back to the West Valley. Explore 4 exceptional West Valley locations with more standard features and thousands of ways to personalize your home. Find out why people buy Fulton Homes over and over again. Fulton Homes, you're proud to own, we're proud to build.
Summer Playfest has arrived at Harris Auction Casino. This summer, win your share of $600,000 in prizes with Caesars Rewards. Plus, join us as live bands light up the stage all season long. Then stay and play for less with our buy one, get one half off hotel rates. So stay, play, and get rewarded all summer during Summer Playfest. Only at Harris Auction Casino. Play for all. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 or 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Visit the Caesars Rewards Center for details.
You don't need lunch. You need a lunch miracle. You need Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet starting at $9.99. Think about it. A dozen people, 15 lunch ideas, and only an hour to eat? Lunch miracle to the rescue. Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet has fun and deliciousness served fresh. Choose from pizzas, pastas, salads, and desserts starting at $9.99 a person. The next time you need a lunchtime miracle on a weekday between 11 and 2, look no further. At Peter Piper Pizza, the fun is baked in.
One study found that half of all clients are unhappy with their lawyer. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
That's why we survey our clients and know over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KTUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Welcome back to the program, Lunch Break, KDUS AM 1060. If you're listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app, you can listen for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks when they take on the San Diego Padres Sunday, June 5th at Chase Field. They have a better way to spend Father's Day. We'll wait. Spend a day with Dad at Chase Field and get them the Father's Day polo shirt. The first 15,000 dads in attendance will receive one. We've got your chance for the 4 tickets, and then you got to beat the other 14,999 dads to the ballpark.
Do you have to be a dad?
It says only the first 15,000 dads will receive one.
Oh, nice.
That's what it says.
That's cool.
It says right here in the
That's
promo.
A lot. That's a lot.
That's what it says right here in the promo copy that I am reading. You can also get your tickets at dbacks.com/SGT. Buy or sell to close up hour number 1 of the program. And some breaking news in the world of the NBA that I think is just...
You want to start with that?
I think we have to.
Yep. The Knicks just made the biggest mistake they could have in firing Tom Thibodeau.
I want to buy this. You said biggest mistake?
Like that they could have. Like, obviously, they're not going to trade Jalen Brunson or anything like that. But, like, this is a massive mistake.
I think this is a mistake, yes. So I would buy this. Now, I know that they got out-coached in that series. And I know to a lot of people they shouldn't have lost that series. Are you going to... I know the knock on Tibbs is the minutes and how he plays the guys and that he's never won the big one. I hear it. I understand it. I got Knicks fans friends. I'm from New York. Trust me. I'm well inundated with the Tom Thibodeau discourse. Are you going to get somebody that's guaranteed to be better than Tom Thibodeau? Who's out there? Legitimately, it's not a rhetorical question. Who's out there? Look at the names of the coaches that the Suns brought in for an interview. Are they going to go hire Chris Quinn?
What if they go get Bud?
That's not better than Tom Thibodeau. That's a mistake. That's a step backwards.
I agree.
Now, Chris Quinn...
I think it's just hard to, like, you built a culture in New York. You bullied the Celtics out of New York. You lost.
You're ready to win right now, right? Take out that you just got beat by the Pacers. You got Brunson. You got Cat. You got OG. You got Mikal Bridges. You got that entire team. You're ready to win right now. You need a win now coach. You can't hire somebody that was on the Suns coaching list. You can't hire a first-time coach to try to break through and win. You need somebody established. Who are you going to get? Is there a name out there? Are you going to go get Frank Vogel? Are you going to go get Bud? You going to go get Monty Williams? We'll just list off the previous Suns coaches. Who are you going to get that is an established head coach to lead this team.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. Couldn't believe it. To be honest with you, I'm shocked right now.
I think
I'm
this
still
is
a little shocked.
I think this is a mistake.
Okay, moving into some of the Cardinals stuff. Pro Football Focus had Michael Wilson listed as an X factor for the Cardinals next year. Michael Wilson will be one of the most important pieces if the Cardinals want to make the playoffs.
I'll buy because I need to stay congruent with our thoughts that this team needs a wide receiver too. They need somebody to emerge alongside Marvin Harrison Jr. They need Marvin Harrison Jr. to emerge. They need him to be their number one, but they also need a really solid number two. And I believe out of everybody that's on their roster, Michael Wilson has the most untapped potential. He has the highest ceiling to be that number two. So I'll buy this if that's the framing that they used for it. Biggest X factor? Sure.
The Cardinals have one of the most intriguing rookie classes to watch around football.
Biggest rookie classes in all of football. Trying to think of some other rookie class. I mean, any of the teams that have a quarterback.
Yeah, those automatically. But to me, like the Giants become the most intriguing. I've talked about this before. Right? If they found their edge rusher and their quarterback, that's a home run draft. You talked about what's Cleveland going to look like? That's going to be just interesting to see what all that shakes out. Jacksonville with Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
but outside of that, like if
outside
you
of those 7 teams that you just listed, other than that, the Cardinals right there at the top of the list.
No, but for teams that didn't take a quarterback that's going to play early or didn't pick in the top 5, Will Johnson is going to play. I mean, it becomes more interesting, more important than
Patriots.
Some of the other classes. I don't know if it's more intriguing than theirs. I love Will Campbell. I just don't know if he's more impactful or obviously as impactful, if not more impactful, but he's a tackle, right? He's not as intriguing as a defensive lineman or a corner.
He's a tackle that could become a guard based on his size.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anybody else that jumps off the page to me. I mean, the Cardinals have 2 starters with their first 2 picks, right? Walter Nolan and Will Johnson are going to be starters next season, so that generates some intrigue. I'll sell and take the field just because that's what I normally do in these spots, but you made a compelling case.
Well, we talked about how important the month of June is for the Diamondbacks this year, but could this be the most important June and July in Diamondbacks history?
Yeah. It's how I open the show. Corbin Burnes' MRI is going to dictate the entire future of the Arizona Diamondbacks. But just because maybe Corbin Burnes is lost for the year doesn't mean that the players can't go out there and prove me wrong and make my statement false. And if they go out there and have a great June and a great July, even with Corbin Burnes potentially on the shelf, they can keep this season afloat. They can keep the championship window open. Yeah. This June, this July, the 2 most important months in a really long time for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Bye.
Yeah, we talked about it. They get to the deadline and our sellers, it could really change what the future looks like for this team. Here's my little NCAA one. And college baseball been going on. Obviously, unfortunately, Arizona State out of the tournament. But the college baseball tournament is in a class of its own as the second best of the NCAA tournaments. Obviously, March Madness is one. I just don't know if there's one better than baseball outside of that.
All right. Give me the take one more time. Outside of March Madness.
College baseball is the best tournament.
College football playoff?
I don't think it's
the new college football playoff with the home games in the first round, expanding to more teams.
Not after 1 year. I mean, I stand by this. Last year's went as poorly as they could have.
I mean, I think for a general population sports fan, they're going to care more about the college football playoff than they are the college baseball World Series. But there is something about these regionals and these upsets that happen. And the number 1 seed went down over the weekend. The way that it's structured, double elimination, you've convinced me. Buy. I'll buy.
And by the way, obviously everybody's going to love college football, and that's always going to be the pick. It's just this is better done because all the college football playoff does is give teams like Ohio State a mulligan.
Yeah. You give the same thing with the college softball World Series. You get that mulligan. You get that double elimination.
Yep.
It's been fun. I've been watching a lot of college softball and some college baseball as well.
College softball is a good game.
It's a blast.
And the home runs are big in college softball.
It is an absolute blast. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. We start hour number 2 with a pretty simple question. Would you trade KD for Karl Anthony Towns? And now that question has taken on a life of its own. That's next. The lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Join the party on Saturday, June 7th at 7:30 p.m. as Phoenix Rising takes on Orange County in a night full of color, community, and top-tier professional soccer. Be one of the first fans through the gates and grab a free Phoenix Rising beach towel, perfect for summer and perfect for showing your pride. Tickets start at just $15. Grab yours now at phxrisingfc.com.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Footprint Center, September 16th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails, live in Phoenix. Peel It Back World Tour 2025.
Hey Arizona, Tom Chambers here. I've learned that great teams are built by hard work, ethics, and perseverance. That's exactly what you get with Right Way Roofing. Right Way Roofing is a third-generation roofing company that has built trust in our community through their commitment to excellence. They use the toughest, most durable materials to handle Arizona's extreme weather. Take it from me, Tom Chambers. When it comes to your roof, choose the team that delivers excellence, because there's only one way, the right way.
We're Right Way Roofing and we do it right. We'll always keep you watertight.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Albertsons and all Safeways.
Attention high schoolers, let's collab this summer with free summer school at Primavera Online. Our summer courses are flexible and only 4 weeks long. Now enrolling for grades 9 to 12 at freesummerschool.com.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Back here, the lunch break, hour number 2 of the program, 12 o'clock hour. Chris Schubert with you. Appreciate all of you joining us here today on the program. You wanted to vote, right? You wanted to leave it up to the people.
Yes, I did.
Everybody on YouTube is voting for me, including Brian from Chandler, who I assume is our Brian, who then said, if you took a vote, it would be a landslide similar to Reagan versus Mondale in favor of Chris. Now, do you understand that reference? You don't understand.
I know who Reagan is.
Do you know who Mondale is? Do you know Mondale's first name?
No.
Brian, I get the reference. It's a great reference. I'm going to make producer Evan look it up during the break so he understands it. But just so you know, it's a great reference. So Walter Mondale is who ran against Ronald Reagan in that election.
I figured.
And if you look at the electoral map, as somebody that is your age, that has grown up and has seen elections be incredibly divisive, to say the least, the electoral map of the amount of states that went to Ronald Reagan will shock you. So that's your homework for the next commercial break. We are diving back in to what has become the top story of the day outside of Phoenix, Arizona, but I think it is a big enough story to warrant a conversation, especially when we were going to talk about the rumors out there about a KD for Karl Anthony Towns swap. The Knicks firing Tom Thibodeau in what I said during buy or sell, I called a mistake. I think it is an absolutely terrible mistake to fire Tom Thibodeau. I know that they wanted more. I know that they thought that after beating the Celtics that they could get to the NBA Finals and win a championship. And the reporting out there is that the Knicks felt a new voice was needed. But, man, Tom Thibodeau had a ton of success in New York. A ton. All of the playoff appearances. Getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. Thibodeau led the Knicks to the Finals for the first time in 25 years. Made the playoffs in 4 of the 5 years that he was there as a coach, and led the Knicks to consecutive 50-plus win seasons for the first time since the 1990s. Tom Thibodeau did stuff for that Knicks organization that they had not seen. There are fans of that franchise that didn't see a 50-win season before Tom Thibodeau, didn't see an Eastern Conference Finals appearance, didn't see making the playoffs 4 of 5 years. Tom Thibodeau, along with the roster, brought that to New York. That's the guy they got rid of today. That's the guy they moved on from. And so my follow-up question, anytime that you fire a coach of this caliber, of this magnitude, is, okay, now what are you going to do? And I don't think, and I've seen a lot of people talk about this, you don't fire Tom Thibodeau. You don't make this drastic decision unless you know who your next head coach is going to be. Unless you know already this person is going to take the job. So who is that person? Who is better than Tom Thibodeau? Well, I look at names like Michael Malone, Taylor Jenkins, recently fired coaches in Memphis and Denver. Michael Malone, championship-winning coach, won a title in Denver, so has that pedigree. Perhaps that's the voice that you're looking for. Maybe Taylor Jenkins is somebody that fits more in line with what they're trying to do. Frank Vogel, we joked in the previous segment. Mike Budenholzer, we joked in the previous segment. But this is something that's not a joke. And you want to know why it's not a joke is because it is trending on Twitter right now. One person's name, 2 words. Jay Wright. All of the Nova connections that exist on the New York Knicks. Now, this is an unproven guy at the NBA level. Is somebody that does carry some weight and carries some a decent reputation, has that connection with the players, could provide that new voice. But I said this in buy or sell, I'll repeat it again here. The New York Knicks are a championship-ready team right now. They are not where the Suns are at in their coaching search. The Suns are looking for somebody to help build a new culture. So they're okay with hiring an assistant coach. It's why we were okay with Chris Quinn potentially being the ultimate hire. We were okay with it being potentially Dave Bliss. Why we're okay with it potentially being Johnny Bryant, an assistant coach with no experience, because that's where this team is at. The Knicks are at the other end of the spectrum. They have a roster that is ready to win. 2 wins away from going to the NBA Finals. You can make the case, flip the result of game 1, the game that they blew, 1 win away from a trip to the NBA Finals. So this is a massive decision to make, to let go Tom Thibodeau. The relationship that Tibbs had with Jalen Brunson. You have to question, was Jalen involved in that process? And so everybody's been focusing on the Suns head coaching search, and that's going to wrap itself up this week. But there's a brand new top job that has opened up, and there's a brand new big story in the NBA, and it is Tom Thibodeau being relieved of his duties by the Knicks. I still don't get it. I still don't understand why they think that this is the direction they need to go in. Now, maybe they hire somebody that changes my mind, but you hire Michael Malone today, you hire Michael Malone tomorrow, am I going to say, wow, the Knicks made a massive upgrade in who their coach is? No. I'm not going to think Michael Malone is a massive upgrade over Tom Thibodeau. Why? Just because he's won a championship? We saw how chasing coaches with a championship pedigree has worked out. We have a front row seat to that. We have firsthand knowledge of that. I don't get this. I don't get this at all.
Yeah, like you said, unless they have a plan, and as funny as the Jay Wright thing would be, it's hard to sit here and see this news and not immediately go, oh my God, are they going to hire Jay Wright?
It would make sense.
right?
And new voice, the connection with the players, has a connection to that building.
That's where I was going to go. And it's that building. It's 10 years ago. He said if he could coach any NBA team, it would be the New York Knicks. Now they have his guys in Hart, Brunson, Bridges. Like, what? First of all, what a couple months for Villanova.
But first the Pope, and now the potential next head coach of the New York Knicks.
Like they have the Knicks.
It's funny that Jay Wright is the name that makes the most sense here.
It's so funny.
It's laughable that the guy who doesn't have rings, he has college rings, but he doesn't have professional rings, jangling around in his pocket, making noise. Doesn't have that resume at the NBA level, but he has the connection with the players. He would provide that voice.
And it's not only has he won at the college level, but he's won with those three.
Yeah, he's won with those three guys.
You know, like, it's not just, I won at Villanova. No, I won with the Knicks at Villanova. That's the argument. It's he won with Brunson. He won 2 with Brunson. One with him coming off the bench. The other one with him is the best player in college basketball. Bridges being a key role in both. Hart being a huge player in 18 when they won.
Try to put the pieces of this puzzle together, right? Because of the relationship that Brunson had with Tibbs, you had to assume that he was involved. Not that he pushed to get him fired, but that they ran this by Brunson before they made the decision.
You would have to assume.
And so a way where Brunson is okay with this is if the follow-up sentence is, we're hiring Jay Wright. That's where it all makes sense. That's where the pieces of the puzzle line up and you go, oh, I get it now.
And the other question is, would he even want the job?
Well, but you don't do this unless you know. You don't fire Tibbs and say, oh, Jay, are you interested? No, you've asked already. You've kind of done some back channeling to know that if this job ever came open, would Jay Wright come out of coaching retirement to coach this team?
So an insane hypothetical.
Is it though? How much of a hypothetical is it right now?
I guess it's not that great.
It's less of a hypothetical than it was 48 hours ago. It's front and center right now.
Do you know how many times, like, growing up Sixers fan and stuff, and I care less now, just one, they stink, and two, I live here and watch more Suns basketball. But how many times I would be like, oh man, I would pay Jay Wright anything to be the Sixers head coach.
And now the Knicks might do that.
And now the Knicks might do it.
They might write the blank check. And so this leads into where we were going to start our number 2 of the program with a simple question. Would you trade Kevin Durant for Karl Anthony Towns? And now, with the Knicks firing Tom Thibodeau, who knows what their offseason is going to look like. But this has been floated, that if the Knicks are going to go star chasing, try to get that extra piece to take them over the top, if they are upset with the defensive effort that they are getting from Karl Anthony Towns, could they decide to, 1 year in, reset this and move off of Karl Anthony Towns? And would the Suns be interested in a KD for Cat swap? Karl Anthony Towns has a relationship with Devin Booker, played together at Kentucky, still remain friends. So there's obviously that personal connection there that plays a role here. We know the Knicks in the past pursued Kevin Durant when he ultimately chose the Brooklyn Nets. So there's that angle to all of this. There's a Knicks team that clearly, after today's news, they feel some level of desperation, that their window is fleeting, that they are watching their chance to win a championship flash before their eyes. And so they want to get on with it. They want to make the most of next season, 2025, 2026. So could they be desperate enough to want to make a big splash and trade for a Kevin Durant? And would you want Karl Anthony Towns back in that deal? And know that if that's what you're doing, if you're doing that swap, you're not getting draft picks. You're not getting young players to build around. You are basically, there'll be some more stuff involved to make it all work math-wise, and you may have to get another team involved to deal with all of the apron nonsense. But at the end of the day, you're basically just saying we are willing to give up Kevin Durant and we'll take on Karl Anthony Towns, and we won't add any additional draft capital. We won't add in any young players to help develop. That we are going to go with Devin Booker. We're going to go with Cat. We're going to use the limited draft capital that we have to get some young players in here. We're going to develop the young players that already exist on our roster, and we're going to give this a go. That's what you would be saying by wanting to trade for Karl Anthony Towns. Now, I know Cat is not a very highly regarded player by most. I kind of like watching Cat play. You know what you're going to get from him defensively, and so just from that premise alone, he doesn't fit what the Suns are trying to do. If the Suns made this trade, it goes against
The alignment.
It goes against everything Brian Gregory said he wants the Phoenix Suns to be. And so just from that alone, I don't think they would do this. But I like Cat as a player. I don't think Cat is the perfect fit here for this team for what they're trying to do. But do I think Cat was a fit with Brunson this season? Absolutely. Do I think Cat is a fit with certain teams and certain situations and systems where he can be successful and win a title? I do. I just don't know if it's here. One, I don't think it's maximizing the Kevin Durant trade, which is front and center, top of the list what the Suns need to do. Cat doesn't fit what the Suns are trying to build with their next team. Defense, effort level, intensity, fierceness, all of those buzzwords. But I did see this floated, and I did see this talked about, and I wanted to discuss it here today, and we put it on the rundown, and 10 minutes before we talk about it, Tom Thibodeau gets fired from the Knicks. And so who knows what they're going to want to do this offseason. But if I'm the Suns, I say thanks, but no thanks. I think Cat's a great player. I think Cat's a solid player for a playoff contending team, a championship contending team. He just doesn't fit what the Suns are trying to do right now.
Not that culture. This culture they want to build.
He's just not a fit. And that's okay. Not every player, not every star player is going to be a fit. Case in point, Kevin Durant is not a fit for what this culture wants to be.
We'll see if they learn their lesson.
Karl Anthony Towns, also not a fit. So no, I would not do this swap. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Producer Evan is going to look up the electoral map of Reagan versus Mondale and give us a breakdown on the other side. And then after that, where do the Cardinals stack up with the rest of the NFL? Talk about that next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays, 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Phoenix, are you ready to ascend? Bring me the horizon. USA Ascension Program Part 1.
Every sky will build my friend.
Taking over Footprint Center, October 2nd, with special guest
Crawling from hell.
Motionless in White, The Plot in You, and Amira El Fiki. On sale now at livenation.com. Bring me the horizon. Presented by the Big Red Radio.
Hey, Mike Barrow from Barrow's Pizza here. The way we see it, family isn't just a cherished thing, it's everything. For us, that starts with our Grandma Angelina's family recipes brought over from Sarconi, Italy, like our sweet and tangy pizza sauce, 100% real mozzarella, and our fresh dough made every morning. And because every Barrow's is family-owned, never franchised, we personally make sure the quality's there at every location. So stop in and give Barrow's Pizza a try. It's authentic food from our family to yours.
Come visit the all-new Wekopa Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Wekopa offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and the resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Wekopa Casino Resort today. At Wekopa, we have the best of it all.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The NFL calendar hasn't even flipped to July yet.
and the Lions have already taken a gut punch that could reshape their season. Four-time Pro Bowler Frank Ragnow is now walking away from the game at just 29 years of age. For most teams, losing a center stings. For Detroit, it could alter the identity of an offense built on controlling the line of scrimmage and punishing defenses with a two-headed run game led by David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Ragnow wasn't just an anchor. He was the blueprint, a technician in protection, a bulldozer in the run game, and the emotional core of a surging NFC contender. His absence up front becomes even more glaring considering Detroit's quarterback situation. Jared Goff has never thrived under interior pressure, and with defensive disruptors like Jalen Carter lurking in the NFC, that vulnerability just got magnified. The Lions still have talent, they still have grit, but their road to the Super Bowl just got a little bit tougher. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day Todd is playing pickleball, and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrell has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough. They're lightweight. They're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrell pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrellPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrell Pickleball Shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrell Pickleball Shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Back here, Political Science Hour, KTUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Producer Evan, did we do our homework during the break?
We did.
Did you see the electoral map?
The 1984 election, Reagan over Mondale, where he won 525 to 13. Mondale snuck one out in Michigan. No, not in Michigan. In Minnesota.
Minnesota, his home state.
Minnesota, his home state, as well as D.C. He won the capital.
But not a state. He only won one state.
Yeah, he only won one state. By the way, just as big of a landslide, the 1980 election, Reagan over Carter, 489 to 49 in electoral votes. Exactly the same, except Carter stole one more state. That was it.
Brian and Chandler says that that's what would happen if we opened this up to a vote for you. That it would be Reagan Mondale-esque.
I got a state and the nation's capital. So, okay.
So what would that be? So if we were doing this and we were breaking up Arizona into chunks.
Yeah. So
you would win Scottsdale, which is where you live.
Yep.
You'd win Scottsdale, and then you'd win what other
downtown Phoenix.
Yeah, you'd win downtown Phoenix and Scottsdale. I'd win everywhere else.
Okay. Two most important.
I don't think so. I think that map tells the story. So that's what Brian says would happen if we open this up to a vote of who the leader of the program is. Fearless leader of the program.
But see, in downtown Phoenix, you have PHX Arena and Chase Field.
I mean, you do. But again,
just saying.
I understand what you're saying. John says you wouldn't win Mesa. So I think that's where John is. John's like, you're not winning Mesa. You're not winning out by me.
No, I don't need to win Mesa.
No, you do. You have
a lot of good food over in Mesa. I would hate to lose.
Yeah, you would lose it all.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be killer.
I'd get all the good food in Gilbert, Chandler, Queen Creek.
To be honest, you would be crushing me. Queen Creek. I mean, it's,
I get all of Mesa. I get Tempe. I get Sun Devil Stadium.
There's no way. I feel like I should get Tempe.
No, we just did this. That the map would not work in your favor. You would lose all of that.
Because I'm more recent grad, I think I get Tempe.
That's not how that works at all. Not how that works at all. So, all right, I'm glad you did the little history lesson and you learned who Walter Mondale was or is, that map, and how everybody thinks that if we actually open this up to a vote of who the fearless leader of the program is, that it would be Reagan Mondale-esque for you. Where else in Sports Talk Radio today are you going to get this type of analysis of the 1984 presidential election and how it compares to
the
this
2018 NBA Finals, the 84 election?
John brings up a great point. Downtown Phoenix right now, the home of losing teams. So do you really want that? Do you really want that on your pedigree? Both the Suns and the Diamondbacks not doing very well down there.
The home of the teams.
Home of the teams. I get Glendale. I get the Cardinals.
Cool. You get one. I get two.
Speaking of the Cardinals.
By the way, losing record last year.
Yeah. The expectation is they'll have a winning record this year. But how much improved are they? How much better are they from, oh, that's a great point by Michael. Never mind. Stop everything I was saying. I get the Grand Canyon.
Oh, that's killer. But you only get the section of the canyon in Arizona.
Sure, but I still get it. You don't.
Who knows? Maybe I've monopolized
Sedona's mine. Payson's mine.
I would like
Prescott.
Can I get Flag?
No, you can't get any of it. This is the point we're making. You're Walter Mondale. Walter Mondale wanted all of those other states. Guess what? He didn't get them because more people voted for Ronald Reagan. So
I think I would get more votes in Flagstaff.
You can't ask nicely. And no, Flagstaff, home of NAU. Me and Mitch Stroman, we're boys. I have NAU territory on lock.
We'll see.
You are Walter Mondale. You don't get anything.
I get downtown Phoenix.
You get a small sliver of downtown Phoenix, and you get
small sliver. No, I get downtown Phoenix
and Scottsdale. That's it. That's all you get. Do with that what you will. Back to talking about the Cardinals and where they stack up with the rest of the NFL. Expectations are higher than ever, higher than they've been in recent years. Big investments made this offseason. A roster that is better, at least on paper, than it was a year ago. So I'm always intrigued to see where the national media puts the Cardinals and their roster and where they put it in comparison to the rest of the NFL. And according to PFF, the Arizona Cardinals are just a middle-of-the-road team. They ranked the starting lineups for all 32 teams in the NFL, and they had the Cardinals as 19th on that list. Now, if we break down the individual position ratings, it grades out a little bit better for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray was the 15th ranked quarterback. James Conner was a top 8 running back. He came in at number 8. Marvin Harrison Jr. was 26th among wide receivers. And in wide receivers, they didn't make sure that every team had one. It was just the best 32 wide receivers. Trey McBride was the 3rd best tight end. Paris Johnson Jr. among the offensive tackles, 14th. On defense, Calais Campbell, 16th ranked interior defensive lineman. Josh Sweat was top 32 at 25. They didn't have anybody in the linebacker room. Not surprising there. And they had Garrett Williams at number 22 for corner. Did they have a safety ranking? I would assume Budda Baker would be.
I looked up and down that website, could not find a safety, but the corners came out today, and they've been releasing them daily.
So safety probably
tomorrow.
I
want to know if safety's coming out tomorrow.
And I would assume that Budda Baker is going to be ranked
pretty
inside
highly.
The top 10, top 8 among safety.
You would have to imagine.
Would be my guess. So individually, if you drill down, if you double click, it doesn't look as bad. But it does continue this divide that we are seeing. And the divide is between us and the local media and those in the national media in the way they look at and the way we talk about the Arizona Cardinals. The local media, which we are a part of, there's other places, media that you consume. There's a different feel around this Cardinals team. There's optimism. There's excitement. There is a higher floor than normal. There are higher expectations. The highest expectations for Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenfort since teaming up here in Arizona. So there's optimism. There's excitement. We love the draft classes. We love the free agency. We love the way the roster has grown over the last couple of years. We all view this roster as the best roster that they've had in the last couple of seasons. The most well-rounded supporting cast that Kyler Murray has had. There is a lot of excitement. And on the national level, there is just still that cloud that hovers over this team of, yeah, you're not going anywhere with Kyler Murray as your quarterback. That divide continues to grow when I see stories like this, and they have the Cardinals as a middle of the road, the 19th best group in the NFL. That divide just continues to grow and grow and grow.
What I couldn't believe was they have them at 19, and to me, my first guess is, okay, Murray's going to be lower than that. Murray's going to be at 20, Murray's going to be at 21, and they had Murray at 15. So they believe, in reality, the quarterback is playing above what the rest of the roster
Right,
says.
but we have always said on this show that if he is QB 12 to QB 16, that we don't think that's good enough for them to make the playoffs. So him being 15th on their individual list and then putting the Cardinals 19th, that is congruent with what we have said, that Kyler's got to play top 10 for them to make the playoffs. So that tracks, but you're right. They didn't have him at 23rd. They had him top half the league. They had James Conner as a top 10 running back. They had the Cardinals with a top 3 tight end. They had a top 15 offensive lineman. They had a top 26 wide receiver, and it's a rookie entering his second year that we think has some untapped potential. So, but take away the sticker shock of them being 19th for just a second. This was the second best roster in the NFC West. The Rams were, I believe, 6th. The Seahawks and 49ers behind the Arizona Cardinals. So they had the Cardinals as the second best roster in the NFC West, which is, by and large, where we have said this team is going into this season. So take away the 19 for a second. Put that to the side. If the Cardinals, as this story suggests, the second best overall roster, starting lineup-wise, in the NFL, they had the 49ers 14, so they had the Cardinals third. So there's this back and forth between the Cardinals either being second or being third. But they have them in front of Seattle. We've long said on this show that they are better than Seattle. Not buying Seattle this season. I think there's going to be too much change at quarterback, and I think there's going to be some growing pains there. And I'm not so sure about this 49ers team, but they did put them in front. We kind of think this team's going to be in a battle for second place in the NFC West. That's where we think this team is going to settle. We think they're going to be battling the 49ers, battling the Rams, for this top spot in the NFC West. And we think that on paper, at least we do, that they are second best in this division. They had the 49ers 14. They had the Cardinals 19. They had it basically a coin toss. They had it very close. That's the uphill battle that the Cardinals are fighting. That is what they are swimming upstream against. We can heap the praise on this team. We can heap the praise on the moves that they've made. We can heap the praise on the roster and talk about our optimism and our excitement for this year. But there is still that divide between the local media and the national media. And until they go out there and have the results that change those pundits' minds, then these types of lists are going to continue to come out, and the Cardinals are going to be viewed as a second half, back half of the NFL team.
And I will tell you, too, you go through the rankings. It's not hard to find. They're the 12th ranked team in the NFC.
So there you go. Another data point. 19th overall in the league, 12th in the NFC. Nobody is buying what the Cardinals are selling. We've said this for weeks now. Nobody is buying what they are selling because the national media does not believe in the quarterback. So you made all the moves that you made, and you're still stacked up as a middle-of-the-road starting unit. And I don't think they are. I think they're higher than that. Especially if we're considering the entire starting group, I think they do better than most teams in the NFC. I think what drags them down is the quarterback and the way he is viewed. So if we're going to go starting lineups across the board, I think that does favors for the Cardinals. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, if they decided to change their mind, could the Phoenix Suns get the number 1 pick in the NBA draft? It's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Leverage your skills and continue pursuing your passions in retirement. By joining AmeriCorps, you can become one of our most valuable partners in Arizona. You'll have the chance to use your experience to support the next generation and contribute to causes that matter most to you. Make giving back your second act. Explore volunteer opportunities and benefits at serve.az.gov. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025.
A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th, with special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 602-837-7246 in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Peoria, and Chandler. That's 837-7246, 837-7246.
Maybe it's time to expect more from college, more opportunities and fewer barriers. Discover Maricopa Community Colleges, the Valley's most accessible higher education provider. With 10 colleges and more than 600 career and degree programs, we're committed to making college work for you. We provide affordable, high-quality educational opportunities that are accessible to everyone. Discover what makes us different at opportunity.maricopa.edu.
It starts with a simple order, a cold Dos Equis dressed with salt and lime. But for the salt clinging to the bottle and the lime perched on top, this is the luckiest of unions. As if the universe has swiped right, pairing flavors together with a crisp Dos Equis. This is refreshment designed by fate, blessed by destiny, and served by bartenders. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Just saw a tweet. The odds to be the next head coach of the New York Knicks. These come from Bovada. You want to guess who the favorite is to be the next head coach of the New York Knicks, producer Evan?
Is Jay Wright?
Jay Wright plus 1,400.
Not the favorite.
Tied with Chris Quinn and Mark Jackson at plus 1,400.
Okay. Gosh, is it Malone?
I don't see Michael Malone's name on this list, no.
I have no idea.
Johnny Bryant at plus 240.
Let's go Spartans.
The Phoenix Spartans coming to a basketball arena near you. That doesn't mean anything. These are just preliminary odds. We don't know, but I wanted to bring it up because I did see that he was listed as the favorite, at least on this tweet. Michael asked during the break if we had heard anything on Corbin Burnes' arm yet. No, we are eagerly awaiting the news of Corbin, or maybe cautiously awaiting the news. I think we just want to know at this point, but we are awaiting the news for the Corbin Burnes MRI. It doesn't look like it's going to come today. It doesn't look like it's going to come tomorrow, towards the end of the week. Now, here's the question. What happens first? The Phoenix Suns hire a head coach, or we get the results of Corbin Burnes' MRI?
Ooh.
I told you, they don't give these jobs to anybody. What do we get first? Do we get the result of Corbin Burnes' MRI
first,
or do we get the Phoenix Suns hiring their next head basketball coach?
We get a coach first.
You are in the camp of the coach. I tend to agree with you, even though 2 weeks ago or last week I said coach is going to take a while. Feels like they're going through this process pretty quickly. And if Johnny Bryant is the favorite to get the Knicks job and you want Johnny Bryant to be your next head coach, we got to get a move on here. So I will go with you that it is coach before we get the MRI results. Speaking of the Phoenix Suns, speaking of the basketball team, I saw an outlandish story on ESPN yesterday. Potential trade offers for top 2025 draft pick Cooper Flagg. And so they had different teams making offers to the Mavericks for the number 1 overall pick. And the Phoenix Suns landed on this list. So producer Evan earlier in the program said that he has somewhat shed his 76ers fandom and he's embraced the Phoenix Suns as his basketball team. Is that a fair representation of where you're at right now? You are willing to be swayed, but you consider yourself more of a Suns fan than anything else.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, would you do this trade right now if you Phoenix Suns fan? Would you trade Devin Booker, a 2025 first-round pick, so your 25 first-rounder, pick number 29, 2028 first-rounder, the least favorable between the Knicks, the Wizards, and the Suns, a 2029 first-round pick swap, the least favorable of the Cavs, the Timberwolves, and the Jazz. And the Phoenix Suns would get back the number 1 overall pick in 2025, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, and Caleb Martin. Would you do that trade right now to get the number 1 overall pick?
No.
So you would not trade Devin Booker, a couple of first-round picks, a first-round pick swap to get Cooper Flagg, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, and Caleb Martin. You would not do that.
You don't have enough picks as it is.
Do you need picks if you have Cooper Flagg?
Okay, well then, let's say you want to build around Flagg in 2 years. What do you do it with?
You have picks in 26. You have picks in 27. You have a pick in 29. You have picks. They're just not always yours. You don't control your own pick for a little bit. That's why they're eagerly trying to get back the number 10 overall pick this year, because they have pick number 29. They got that from the Cavs. So you wouldn't do this. You're out. You're saying, nope, not doing this.
I think I'm out. Your thoughts?
I agree with you. I would not do this. As much as I would want Cooper Flagg as part of the Phoenix Suns to help kind of kickstart a rebuild if you actually wanted to fully tear it down, I just don't think they're going to do this. I don't think they would even entertain this. And I don't even think Dallas would entertain this. Would Dallas really give away all of the depth that they have and the number 1 overall pick to just get Devin Booker, to go Kyrie, AD, and Book? Is that really what you would do? You'd have no depth. You'd have no bench. It would be those 3 guys. And let's face it, are those 3 guys the epitome of health? Are those 3 guys all a guaranteed to give you, 65 plus games? Or are those guys always going to meet the threshold to qualify for the NBA awards? No. So you're putting Nico Harrison would be pushing all of the chips in the middle. And so I wouldn't do this. And I wouldn't do this because I don't want to trade Devin Booker right now, even though I may do it down the road. I don't want to give up the draft picks. And let's face it, do I really want Klay Thompson? PJ Washington, Najee Marshall are nice players. It's depth. It's building out a full rotation. I'm good with all of that. But I'm really doing all of this for Cooper Flagg. Here's what the story said about why the Suns would do this. Quote, for the Suns, this offseason has the feel of a franchise that's ready to change everything and rebuild. Their attempt to win with a team featuring 3 pure scorers without enough supporting infrastructure didn't yield dividends. Their salary cap situation is untenable, and they have already traded away several future draft assets. End quote. So might as well just trade more future draft assets. In the hypothetical scenario in which Durant is moved before the draft, the Suns being able to include potential assets from such a deal would most likely allow them to make a more competitive offer than what is being suggested here. So meaning that you can trade Durant, get some stuff back, and then use some of that stuff in this trade. And maybe you don't give away all of your draft picks because you gain some back in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. I think that's too many plates to spin right now. You got a new GM. You're in the process of hiring a head coach. We know you have to deal with the Durant and the Beal situations. I just don't think trading Devin Booker makes a whole lot of sense right now. You're just adding more stuff to accomplish and more stuff that you absolutely have to get right, that you have to hit out of the park, that needs to be a home run. You got to get an A+. You can't miss if you trade Devin Booker. If you ultimately decide we are trading Devin Booker, you have to absolutely maximize that return. And while getting the number 1 overall pick would be a boon, would be great, landing Cooper Flagg would be awesome, I just don't know if it's enough. As weird as that sounds, I just don't know if that is enough because you have to give up draft picks along with Devin Booker. If I'm trading Devin Booker, I'm sending Devin Booker out and I'm getting all of the stuff back. That's how this is going to go. I'm the one getting things. I'm not trading Devin Booker and stuff to get stuff. I'm trading a superstar, and you're giving me a lot of things for that superstar in the form of players, in the form of picks, in the form of pick swaps. You're giving me equity in your franchise. I mean, you're giving me things if I'm trading Devin Booker. So I don't think the Suns are going to change their mind. If they did change their mind, I think they can do more than just a number 1 overall pick. I think they can get a deeper haul, maybe not a higher ceiling haul, but a higher floor haul, and keep a lot of their assets in-house. So no, I would not do this. Just like I wouldn't trade Kevin Durant for Karl Anthony Towns, I'm still not in the position where I'm trading Kevin Durant right now. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've got the leftovers, all of the stories that we didn't get to, and I have a leftover story today. I have a leftover story that I want to share with producer Evan.
Whoa.
Because producer Evan is a massive fan of a particular fast food establishment. You have a nickname for this fast food establishment.
Steakhouse.
The Steakhouse. The Steakhouse made some news today.
It did.
I'm going to share that news in the leftovers. We'll do it next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Feeling uneasy about your financial future? You need a partner that helps lighten the load. Welcome to Global Credit Union. It means early payday, your paycheck up to 3 days early with direct deposit, accounts with no NSF fees, and a mobile app with tools to help you manage your family budget. At Global, we take member care seriously with branches near you and a 24/7 U.S.-based call center staffed by real people. Join us at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union.
Stevie Nicks. One special night, October 7th, PHX Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Stevie Nicks. Live at PHX Arena.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind. Oh my. Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back to wrap up today's edition of the program. Appreciate you joining us. Jim Rome's coming up next. It's the leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. Can I start?
You start.
You have a pseudonym for the fast food establishment known as McDonald's. One of the first days that you were working here, you referred to it as Donnie's Steakhouse, which I now have taken and I use it myself. And anytime we talk about McDonald's, that's how we refer to it now. They made a major announcement today to the joy of thousands of people.
I have been sent this on Twitter or Instagram, no lie, 10 times since I've woken up today.
Because it was earlier today that they announced that they are bringing back the snack wrap.
It's the greatest news that could have came this morning.
I'm not a huge snack wrap guy. I know how big of a deal it is for everybody else. There is one other thing that McDonald's could bring back that would take Donnie's Steakhouse to a whole nother level. Can we bring back the chicken selects?
What is that?
Oh, my. So they had chicken strips that they called the chicken selects.
Chicken selects?
These things.
Have you tried the new chicken?
Yeah,
strips?
which is an attempt at bringing back the chicken strips.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. You're looking at the OGs?
Yeah.
The OG, they were special. The OGs were a top-tier chicken tender. The chicken selects were a top-tier chicken tender.
Yeah, this one looks way, way better breaded.
Oh, the breading was fantastic. It had a crunch to it, a crisp to it.
And it looks like they had a chili dip with it.
They had some different sauces.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, they brought back the creamy chili for the current ones.
Yeah, and the current ones are not very good.
No, they were very fine.
Yeah, they're not.
I wouldn't try them.
But McDonald's bringing back the snack wraps.
It's big.
You'll be there first day. July 10th. Snack wraps are back. So you have to wait a whole nother month. Maybe that day we'll get some.
We should do it
for the
social
leftovers.
content.
We'll do some social content with that. Write that down. Speaking of all of the randomness of the show, Brian from Chandler over on YouTube shares late polling suggests Evan might carry Yuma. His message is connecting with suburban soccer moms, and it's putting him over the top. So you might win Yuma.
Never been.
You never been. See, Brian, you tried. You tried to give him. You tried to give him a little bit. You're like, oh, I'll give you Yuma. And how does he respond? He goes, you know what? Never been. So you know what? He doesn't deserve Yuma. Don't give it to him.
I don't want Yuma.
He doesn't want Yuma.
I didn't even campaign up there.
Didn't even campaign. Up there?
Down there.
Down there.
There we go. I had a phase in college where I was doing the weather. You would think I would know that. But I was just...
You did the weather reports in Cronkite?
Yeah.
In front of the green screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yuma is a popular destination to point out on the weather map. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I do that so many times.
Clearly not enough because you thought it was up there, not down there.
I was always going up to the Grand Canyon, giving people what their trip could look like at the Grand Canyon. In the middle of the winter, it's like 8 degrees up there. I'm like, man, it's going to be chilly up at the Grand Canyon. All right, back into the leftovers. The Orlando Magic. Some news today. Have you heard this?
I have. I don't think so.
They have done a little revamp. So they changed their logo as well as released some jerseys.
Okay, hold on.
And the jerseys are kind of like a throwback to what they used to be. They're awesome. They are awesome. And the Orlando Magic just feel like one of those teams that have been trying to find themselves jersey-wise for years. Similar to the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know if you think that about the Rams. The Rams just feel like they haven't had a jersey since they left St. Louis.
I love this.
And these are awesome.
I love everything about this new logo. I love everything about this new jersey. This is 100% throwback Shaq era.
The white jersey is awesome. The blue one is fine. The black one with the blue top is unbelievable.
Yeah, these are 3 really good jerseys. Shout out to the Orlando Magic. Great job.
I mean, they crushed it.
Yeah, they did. They crushed a good rebrand. Great job.
So shout out to the Magic. Hopefully they're good. I don't know if they will be, but hopefully they're good.
You can't be bad if you're wearing jerseys like that, right? I think that's just a
no,
rule.
like essentially they have made me want to watch the Magic.
Yeah, you'll turn them on.
Like I'll flip them on now, and be like, hey, the Magics are wearing those blacks tonight. We gotta see what they're at. They look like.
They're in the old school white jerseys. Got to get those. Got to watch those.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Magic jerseys. Now, moving to baseball.
Okay, are you connecting 2 stories together, or no? We are just going in a totally
not at all.
Okay,
though that is what it sounded.
It did sounded like there was going to be a transition, but that's okay.
The Royals, speaking of the color blue, have called up their top prospect, Jack Caglione. He's probably going to make his major league debut tonight. This guy is a menace.
He hurts baseballs. Yes.
He hurts baseballs.
He hurts baseballs. He's awesome. He's probably going to DH for the Royals tonight. He's a power-hitting masher of the baseball. Professional hitter.
It's the best way to describe him.
Professional hitter is what Jack is. And so there's a lot of buzz around him being called up to the Royals, who need some offense. He's one of the top prospects in the game. There's some buzz around him. I will be tuning into his at-bats this evening.
Speaking of just prospects, I didn't have this on the leftovers, but it made me think of this story. Did you see Roman Anthony, who's the top prospect in Boston? They had to sneak him out of a game the other night because there was too many people waiting for him. They put him in a laundry cart and like covered him with clothes and stuff and wheeled him all the way to the bus.
I'm sorry. I need that one more time.
No, this is a real story.
I know. That's why I need it one more time.
So they put Roman Anthony in like one of those big laundry carts.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
And then covered him with like clothes and miscellaneous items that also had to go onto the bus. And then wheeled him and the items on top of him past all the fans that were waiting for his autograph and pictures and everything like that onto the bus. And he got out of the cart like, right on the steps of the bus so nobody would bother him.
I don't know if I love that or if I hate it.
I hate it.
You got to be a man of the people.
Like yes. And you have to see the video. It's not that many people. It's not. Like it's just
it's a minor league ball game. How many people could it be?
It's not that many people.
Is
like,
it more?
I don't know if they did it as a joke.
Is it more than 150 people?
No. Is you have to find this video. It can't be more than 60 people.
Okay, hold on. I'll search Roman Anthony on social media.
I couldn't believe it.
Roman Anthony cart.
Did it come up?
Yes. Roman Anthony had to get the Taylor Swift treatment. The Red Sox mega prospect had to be hidden in a laundry cart to avoid the autograph hounds. All right, so they're rolling him out right now. 1, 2, 3. That's at most 25 people. At most.
Yes.
That's at most 25 people.
I know.
Come on, we got to be better than that. We've got to be better than that, Roman. We got to be better than that, Boston. We got to be better than that.
Yeah, like if he's not ready for that, what is Fenway going to look like for Roman Anthony?
I can understand it if you're Taylor Swift, if you're Shohei Ohtani, you'll be there for days signing stuff. If Roman Anthony, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe a couple. At most, it's 20 people. If you sign one thing, but you walk out, this is super easy. You walk out and you say, listen, I'll sign one thing for everybody. Okay? You've got it. Because a lot of these people had like binders and it looks like they had a bunch of cards. I'm signing one thing for each of you.
So pick
what you want me to sign, but I'll sign one thing for each of you. It takes me what? 10 minutes to sign all those things?
If that. And again,
now, maybe those are people that show up every single time. You have these people that love collecting sports memorabilia, and so they're always going to want you to sign stuff. I get it. But it takes 10 minutes out of your day.
I'm a big Roman Anthony fan, or was coming into this.
You're out now.
I thought he was a can't-miss prospect. I'm out on him.
You're out.
I'm out. If he can't sign 20 autographs outside of a minor league baseball game, what is it going to look like in Boston for him?
It's a tough look. It's a tough look.
That's a serious concern.
It's 10 minutes of your time. You tell everybody, listen, I gotta make the bus. And I've seen this. I have firsthand knowledge with this. My daughter, huge supporter of U of A softball. Don't get me started. It's a whole big thing. She gets coached by somebody who plays for U of A softball. So we have the ASU U of A thing that goes on in the house. We go down there to watch them play. And she waits after the game so she can see the player who has coached her on the side. We wait after the game. And there are people that want to take pictures and say hello and just have a conversation. And if it's a road game and they're waiting for the bus or whatever, then they have to go. So I've seen this firsthand. But I also have seen how athletes can still be respectful and give everybody that time and then also still make the bus when the bus needs to leave.
Yep. Yeah. Last thing, MLB All-Star Game voting starts tomorrow.
Don't vote for Roman Anthony.
Fan voting in All-Star games is possibly the dumbest thing in sports.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. That's going to do it for us. Tuesday edition of the program in the books. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Jim Rome's coming up next. Everybody, have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya!